Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide valuation and online mediation services in St. Louis, Missouri. During this episode, we will discuss divorce financing and the price of getting divorced with Nicole Noonan. She is a matrimonial lawyer and divorce funding expert in New York, but funds divorces throughout the U.S. She's actually been crowned the fairy godmother of divorce by the New York Post. She's also been featured in the Huffington Post Women in Business, American Banker, The Economist, Forbes Magazine, Fortune Magazine, and the New York Times. Oh my gosh, welcome. Let's walk through some of the process and who is a typical candidate for funding your divorce.
Sure. I've talked a lot about women, but we have a lot of men as clients as well. It's typically the non-moneyed spouse, so the spouse that relinquished some control to the financing, that wouldn't have access otherwise to retain the right experts, the right financial experts, the right attorneys, or even have their living expenses paid for during a divorce. So those candidates can be men or women. Usually clients where they're asset rich and cash poor. So everything in Manhattan, everything can be tied up in a $1 million apartment, and eventually it's going to sell. We've also had clients in the Midwest and Iowa where everything's tied up in a farm. It's eventually going to be divided one way or the other, or someone's going to buy someone else out. That's when we get repaid. So there does have to be an asset pool there. Very often I do get clients calling saying, hey, I had a 6-month marriage. We rented a stay-at-home suites. We have no furniture. We have a dog we want to divide. Unfortunately, as much as I love dogs, we can't fund those kind of cases. But there does have to be, and again, those cases maybe are the right cases that should go to the 1-800-divorce and pay very little to get divorced. Don't throw good money after bad. But if you do have assets, you do have children, you do have things that are going to be contentious in a divorce funding could be an option for you.
Yeah, no, I think that, typically what we're seeing is even very successful, wealthy individuals will reinvest their money. So they'll reinvest it in, cars, businesses, buildings, houses, real estate, any of these things. And those things are not easily to just convert to cash. Exactly. And a lot of times we need to get the cash out. But when we go through this process, what are kind of some of the successful outcomes that you see happening when they get the funding?
Sure. I see empowerment. I really do, for some clients, that divorce is emotionally, financially, it's stressful. With having the funding there, having that security that they know that they'll be able to keep up with the payments to their lawyers, that keep up with the payments to their experts. It gives them the dignity to go out and say, hey, I can do this. I can actually, toe for toe with you. And for a lot of those clients that now have that sense of empowerment, that weight off their shoulders, it brings the other side, the money spouse, to the table. So for a mediation, they'll say, okay, I can't just make some offer that's way, way, way below what I should be making, that this person actually has the great experts, the great attorneys, the great people on her team or on his team, that I now need to come to the table with a decent, fair settlement.
Yeah, because it's not always about finding the shark attorney, or the bulldog, there's so many terms for it. Sometimes it's finding the right person that has your interest in mind, or that does know how to settle a case, because when you do have kids involved, people start to focus on, how am I going to co-parent? This isn't a person that you're just never going to see again. Most of us may want that, but it's not going to happen. And so you have to continue to work with them in some capacity. And you might want to find an attorney that helps settle. The reality is the funding allows you to have that opportunity to find the right person for you, your situation. Maybe you want to fight. Maybe there are things to fight about, and maybe there aren't. But if you are just kind of pigeonholed into, well, all I have is, can everybody do this for $5,000? And the answer is going to be no. If you're in a litigation, regardless of what stage you're in, the answer is going to be no. Then it gives you some choice, I think, in who you select as part of your team, because this is a process. And if you don't have the right team players, it's going to be a very inefficient process in my mind.